Hello, I'm Samuel and this is Analytical Mysticism. And today we're going to talk about chanting meditations. And there's a bunch of different types of meditations like Vipassana meditation or visualization meditation. But in this video we're going to be talking about the benefits of chanting meditation. So chanting meditation is the reading over of a text out loud. So it can be a short text. So like in Nichiren Buddhism, they will recite the phrase Nam-myoho Renge-kyo over and over again. And that's how they do chanting meditation. But you can also read something longer, like a psalm or a discourse from the reading. It can be the text that you're chanting can be as long as you want. So the first benefit of chanting meditation is that it gives you the option to shift your thoughts, right? So you can think of your thoughts with the analogy of your body in that we have muscle memory. So like the first time you start playing a song on the piano, you're going to be kind of bad at it. By the 1000th time you've played it, you're kind of playing the song without even thinking about it. Or something even more fundamental to the human experience, when we first started walking, we had to put a lot of concentration in it. Our parents probably remember, the people who took care of us oftentimes will remember like when people start taking their first steps and it's wobbly and they're like, am I doing this right? But over the course of years, you walk without even thinking about it. It's just like, oh, there's food over there. And so you just go over there to get food. But how you do that is through walking, right? But you're so used to it that it becomes subconscious. You just kind of do it, And the same goes with a lot of our mental habits, that we get so used to our mental habits that we do them without even thinking about them. That you think thought A, then B, then C, and they might not be specific thoughts even. They could be general ways of thinking, but we habituate ourselves to them, right? So it's kind of like muscle memory, but for our minds. And those thought patterns that we have can either be positive or they can be negative. So what chanting meditation gives us the opportunity to do, right, is to shift away from your thought patterns that you were having before, So you might have been in a negative thought loop, right, but now since you're reading these words, right, out loud, whether it's a phrase or it's a longer text, right, now you're having a different, habit, if you will. So if you've chanted the text before, right, you could say one of the benefits of chanting meditation and attempting to change your thought patterns, right, is that your thought patterns are habits. So simply noticing, oh, I'm thinking kind of negative right now, it might help, right, but you're up against a pattern, you're up against a habit, right? So you might be like, oh, I need to change my thought, but then you notice 5 minutes later, you're back to where you started because it's a habit, it's a muscle memory. You're going to start doing it, regardless of whether or not you want to oftentimes. And so with chanting meditation, right, you offer yourself, forming a counter habit, right, that you're not only noticing it, but you're letting yourself do other muscle memories, so it's just like, okay, there's this text that I've committed to memory, and now I'm going to go through it, right, or this phrase that I'm going to continue to read that brings inspiration, or it's a tool towards enlightenment, and you keep going over this phrase, right, then it's another habit, it's another mental muscle memory, right, that you're allowing yourself to go through. So it allows you that option to have a different set of thoughts, right? And I can personally say that, I might be thinking in less than optimal ways, like not feeling motivated or energetic, but like after say like 30 minutes of chanting meditation, right? Like my thoughts can completely switch from what they were before, right? Like feeling inspired, motivated, want to do the projects that I've been thinking about, you know, because you could say that I've, you know, downloaded these thoughts, you know, from this inspired text, as it were. So like the thoughts that were there are now thoughts that are mingling with my own self, you know. And so like when you read like a book of fiction, you're letting that person's imagination fill you. When you're reading a research book, you're letting that person's data fill you, like their thoughts are there, you know. And so when you read a text by someone who's reached different stages of enlightenment, right, that sense, their mental states, right, kind of start merging with your own, right? So say one of the benefits of chanting meditation is that it allows you to shift your thoughts. The second benefit of chanting meditation that I'll discuss in this video is that it's kind of just fun. If you've memorized a text, right, then you are given the opportunity to actually never be bored. So I was in a doctor's office one time, and it was very busy. I had to wait for like 4 hours before the whole thing was done, and there was a lot of waiting. There's 2 hours before I saw the doctor, I think, and there's like 2 hours afterwards where they're doing like analysis of things. And the funny part about that is that I never really got bored. And I know a lot of people might not believe me when I say I'm not, generally speaking, the type of person to get bored. But when I have things to do, like chanting meditation, right, then it's like, oh, I can always go over something in my mind. So it's just like, well, I might not be reading it really loud for everyone in the room to hear. I can go over the text again in my head, or I can go over the phrase in my head again. Be like, okay, yeah, where was I? It's like, do I still remember this? And again, you can be quite entertaining oftentimes, you know, because, you know, it's like checking your memory, like you're making your memory sharper, you know, by seeing if you can still remember these texts. You might be in line at a grocery store, and instead of be like, oh man, I'm waiting for my turn, you can just, you know, pull up the text from memory, you know. So chanting meditation can be just fun and can get rid of boredom oftentimes. And so that leads to the third benefit of chanting meditation, which is you have environments, and your environments affect your emotional states. So, for example, one time I was in a metro train station. I don't remember exactly where it was, but I remember that I was walking through, and I was getting this sensation, like in movies, maybe you see where it's like crowds of people are walking back and forth, but everything is blurry and it's frantic, and I was feeling that sensation. And I remember I stopped and I noticed that there was a violinist there, and he was playing like this frantic music on the violin, and I noticed that the frantic music of the violin was causing my perceptions of this train station to change. That I was seeing things being more frantic, everything was becoming more blurry. Like the violin music had changed how I was perceiving the world around me, you know. And music, or, you know, your physical environment or anything that's around you does affect your mental state, you know. And the same goes for chanting meditation, that when you recite things in or you chant things in rhythmic, you know, long tone ways, it can bring you into a state of peace oftentimes. That chanting meditation can make you feel calm. That besides the meanings of the text, which can also make you feel inspired, just the general feel of the text, you know, of chanting it, right, can change your base emotional state, you know. Especially when the text, there's certain texts like the reading which are made to be chanted, right? So there's rhythm in the text, there's alliteration, there's rhyme, and you can, even if you don't understand the words, oftentimes people will hear these texts and start feeling deeply calmed, right? Because of the nature of the text, you know. So with these, you know, things that we're chanting, you'd say the third benefit is that it changes your environment, that it could be like the vibrations, if you're the one chanting, interact with your body and brings you into the slow, not like if you're doing it in slow tones, right, brings you into a state of peace. It can oftentimes make you feel ecstatic depending on the rhythm of the text at the moment. So doing chanting meditation can oftentimes bring you into different states of consciousness, despite the meanings of the text themselves. When the meaning of the text and the presentation of the text combine, right, then it's a truly wonderful experience. So as a recap, the three benefits of chanting meditation are that it gives you the opportunity to shift your thoughts and your mental habits. Two, that it fills times where you could feel bored and can make a lot of small experiences in your life feel interesting. And the third of which is that it can help change your emotional state by changing your environment. That now your chanting meditation becomes a portion of your environment, and it helps you feel calm and ecstatic and happy. And besides even the meaning of the text, you're imbibing the feeling of the text. And all these things come together to make, if you practice chanting meditation regularly, a very useful practice. So if you liked this video, I suggest you check out my other videos and subscribe.